Hey guys, so welcome back for another deep dive on the markets. And there was a lot of interesting disclosures for the day, particularly for the telco space. And I want to drill down on that between the relationship of PLDT versus Globe versus Converge versus Dito. And we're going to do a deep dive on that, especially that there's so much talk about the telco, the broadband space over the past few months. And I think it's very relevant to where we are today. So to structure this talk, at least for this podcast, I want to talk about it in three things. Number one, who's winning broadband, and this is in context to the network of how they laid out the total number of how big it is, where it was in 2019 and where it is in 2020. Then we're going to talk about the previous day's price action. As you all know, we're on a holiday today, so I'll be basing it on yesterday's price action. Then lastly, we're going to talk about it via technical analysis. But before I continue and before I begin, I just like to reiterate that if you're new to this, and no matter how much we talk about the stock market, specific stocks, please never ever buy, sell, hold, or avoid a stock or transact just because it's talked about here. It's very important, it's very prudent that you analyze the stocks based on what you know, based on what your strengths are, based on your research also and your due diligence. Never ever do anything just because people talk about it, your friends would talk about it, because you won't make money over the long term that way. You won't build strength and you won't build conviction. And the whole goal of why I've been doing videos like this is I want you to win long term, and I want you to have the ability to be able to decipher and decide stocks on your own. So this was all of this. No, by the way, these are all disclosed information already. For those who've watched the reports online, you could have seen this as well. But I just want to add my flavor into this. So this is what I mentioned: do not buy, sell, hold the stock. But anyways, so let's look at it from a fiber optic footprint. As you all know, also that there's another segment on top and beyond the normal 5G network. People are always talking about mobile, people are always talking about data, that there's so much emphasis on it. But what I've noticed, especially in this lockdown, is that since people are at home, the need for mobile and the need for data wasn't as much. People want stability and people want faster speeds. And what's interesting about that is if you look at mobile, if you look at the data that's sourced uh, via 4G, LTE, 5G, those are not unlimited. And if you're using a Zoom call, you're trying to connect over the internet also, the stability of what broadband will give is amazing. And that's why I really believe we're seeing more and more people uh, during this new normal, especially that there's work from home, shift towards fiber optic uh, network, or more of uh, connections that's not mobile, to that effect. So here's the thing also, uh, as people start to go out again, the use for data, I think, will also continue to increase, will also continue to get better. However, please remember, especially for postpaid accounts, uh, these are these are locked in. So essentially, no, a large chunk of people who went into broadband right now, or at least for 2020, they'll be locked in for the next 2 years, which will also give significant revenue to whoever is getting a large piece of the pie. So without further ado, I want to show you this. These were their cable kilometers as of 2019. PLDT, this is in terms of fiber optic footprint. PLDT is 322,400. You have Globe very far at 54,000. So if you notice it, no, as of 2019, PLDT leads Globe by over, if you multiply it by almost six, that's how big the gap, or at least the multiplier of PLDT is against Globe. Then you have Converge, who's, by the way, the IPO is allowing them already to unleash funds also to expand outside at least the Metro Manila area or the Greater Manila area. and that's what we're gonna see also over the next few years as they try to not grab market share, but they try to explore more and get a bigger piece of the broadband pie. Then for Dito, as they started to roll out this 2020, for 2019 they had essentially zero. So just so you know, Converge is roughly you multiply it by 10, that's the more even more than 10, that's the lead of PLDT over Converge. And Globe is double the size of Converge as of 2019. Now, as of 2020, November 2020, based on the disclosure, PLDT jumped to 422,290. That was from 322,400. Globe, on the other hand, went up from 54,000 to 66,518. Converge went from 22,833 to 42,000. So Converge almost doubled. Globe essentially increased also their fiber optic network. Then you have Dito went to 13,152. Checking how much they added for the year, PLDT did over 99,890. So they were already leading massively by 2019, but they even increased it further. For Globe, they added 12,518. Converge 19,167, and Dito 13,152. So in terms of what was done in 2020, Converge beat Globe, Dito also beat Globe, but PLDT was really massively way above, or at least have done a large chunk of the work. And I'll tie this also to the earnings that they've given out. A couple of things. Number one, as of the third quarter disclosure, if you remember the videos that we've created, PLDT's earnings were up. For Globe, they were relatively lower also. And I think it's reflective already on how, and even for Converge, their numbers are also up. It's reflecting on how broadband is so significant right now. The need for speed and the need for reliable wired internet is so important to Filipinos, especially in this new normal. Now, looking at the price action, this is PLDT as of the last trading day. I just want to note that it closed at 1,327, down 1.70%. Foreigners were net sellers with 100 million. Then you also have Globe down slightly, 0.2933. Foreigners bought positive 40 plus million on net foreign buying. For Converge, down 0.62, 15.90. Net foreign selling of around 9.6 million pesos. Then lastly, you have Dito CME, which we talked about in the previous video, massively moved up 7.61, broke past the resistance, is now close at 9.97%. Foreign buying was around 31 million pesos. Just to give you also context, total foreign buying was around 44.7 million. Foreign selling was 13 million, giving it a net foreign buying of 31 million pesos. So now let's look at the technicals. So let me load my charts for you guys as well. Comment below if you're learning, and comment if this is something that's helping you. If you notice it also, my voice is quite better already as compared to the past few days. But I really enjoyed the seminars that I had. So even medyo na yung voice ko at that time, it was still fun. So 2 announcements on the seminars. A lot of you guys have been sending messages. Links in the description below. We're having another live technical analysis session this January 2021. It will be in Makati. So since we are in this new normal, limited slots only, first come, first serve. We have the few already who started to register for the event, so I'll see you there. But for those who want to join us in an online session, or we're also making one, but it's not yet finished. But if you want to be part of that, we have another link beside that. Leave your email there, and once it's open or once it's available, we're gonna send you details of the seminar as well. So anyways, let's start. So for PLDT, this is how it looks. Generally, no, it's still, in my opinion, moving sideways, with this as the main support and resistance level. With it also, though, hitting this short-term resistance at the 1383 level. That's why we started also to see it somehow push lower. So one thing also that I'd like to note is If you can see this area here, it's starting to form its own downward slope. However, as long as this 1278 area of support holds its ground, then somehow the sideways market for PLDT is protected. So please write this down: 1278 current support level. Resistance right now is 1382, followed by another resistance at the 1482 level. So everything for PLDT right now hinges on the possibility of it holding the 1278 level. No? So please watch out for that. That's so important because it will protect PLDT and it will allow it to continue to move on a sideways direction. One of the reasons why it's sideways because it started already to break past, or at least this upward trend already got broken. Now let's look at Globe. This is Globe right now. I'll zoom out so that you have further clarity also. I want to show you this. It's starting also a downward push. No, it must break out from this downward line if you want to see it somehow, some way, at least push higher. Current resistance for Globe right now, you can peg it at this level, then another one here. So resistance is 2149 followed by 2234 for Globe. Putting on support level here, you could peg it somewhere here. So you have 1943 support, 2149 resistance, and 2234 as another resistance. So just try to remember how we simulated PLDT because it's also moving sideways, but it's also trying to form its own downward push. So that's where we are for Globe as of now. Next one is, let's look at CNVRG, Converge. So this is where Converge is. As you all know, it just did an IPO. That's why the charting for it is relatively not as cohesive yet. But this is its current support and resistance level. Main resistance is at 16.91. Main support is at 13.92. It currently also is forming another resistance at the 16 peso level. Now, if I'll plug this in here, I just like to point this out that this upward push here got broken as well somewhere around here, meaning the upward trend that should have formed uh, from the start of October did not follow through because of this particular movement here. Now, that being said, please do note that we have a resistance at the 16 peso mark. Another resistance is at the 16.9 mark as well. Failure to hold the 16 peso level. Next possible area for it to retrace will be at the 15.28 level for Converge. So current notion right now is if it retraces to 15.28 but bounces, then the possible sideways progression that we will have for Converge is 15.28 support, 16 pesos resistance, followed by 16.91. So the downward push at the start of the IPO is currently over. It bounced at 13.9, but the upward bounce also that we saw is also over. And now we might see it start to consolidate and move sideways a bit. So please do note of this resistances: 16.91, 16, and 15.28 as the support. So there. Lastly, let's look at Dito. As you all know, Dito Telecom is not the one that's listed, but for those who have been using Dito CME as a proxy, then this video is for you. One thing is so sure, similar to what we did on the previous videos, is that the 7 peso resistance level was broken the last trading day. And if the 7 peso resistance as support currently holds, then we now have the next possible resistance at the 8.51 level. So please do write this down. Dito, current trend up. Dito, 7 peso level support is holding, or is currently breaking out of the 7 peso resistance, turning itself into a support. And if that happens, that solidifies, next possible area to watch out for is the 8.51 resistance. So there, I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope that this is something that's helping you. I hope that this is adding massive value to all of you. And for those who want to learn more about the basics, technicals, and fundamentals of the market, in the description below, number one, I have videos on my main channel, hundreds of videos where you can use as a reference. I also have books that are available in National Bookstore and Shopee. And number three, if you want to invest in other markets, we have links also below that allows you to invest in US markets for 50 US dollars only. So I guess that's it for now. What's your greatest learning from this? Was this video helpful? Put it in the comment section below. I want to hear your thoughts. And if you're new to this, appreciate it if you can like, share, and subscribe and smash the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing. So that's it for now. Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.